Hello and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Friday, the 16th of February. I am Flat Cap Callum and I'm hoping you are all very, very well. All right, I'm going to try and keep the rants to a minimum tonight. That is the plan. It's taken me absolutely ages. I've been at it for hours tonight. I thought it was going to be a fairly sort of straightforward day with maybe like two bets and a win bet and like an each way Canadian, and then I've ended up getting quite a bit of stuff, to be honest. So it's 25.50. So it's stake and a quarter. It's a reasonable outlay for Friday. It's an interest in 15 races, 17 horses. So there's quite a bit. Some of them are some sort of small bets. There's like three main bets. There's a split leg Kelso Wolverhampton Yankee. Oh yes, the much forgotten about split leg Yankee Wolverhampton Kelso. Everyone loves that. There is a Meydan split leg Yankee. When I've gone through Meydan, I'll get to that. It's quite interesting racing. More interesting than I thought it was, but not necessarily easy stuff. And then I've got a Dundalk special, 4 horses, straight Yankee for Dundalk. And then we've got combination double between my two preferred races, which aren't going to be most people's preferred races. And I've got a Win Trixie. I managed to get a Win Trixie up on the jumps. And then I've got an each way double with my two slightly preferred horses out of 2 different bets. So it actually makes it to 6 bets, but yeah, 25.50 is what we've got. So it's up to you what you do with it. This is what I'm putting down in the name of the channel, and recording all my stats for it, so you can make your own choices and stuff. I appreciate, people don't necessarily want to keep investing lots and lots of money unless you've been along a while and you've been doing all right. So yeah, tonight's vid, I'm literally going to do the review, do the bets, and then a very, very quick mention on the Tipster League, because I haven't had a chance to go through everything and get a bunch of stats, because basically I thought I'd have a load more time tonight. I thought I'd have loads of time, and yeah, just from a research point of view, it's taken literally hours. That's basically where I'm at. So the review is, some came out with a profit on Thursday, but not everybody. So we had the Clonmel double. Both of those are really poor, but if you do get a chance and you didn't see that 4:05 race, have a watch on that on the replay, and try to imagine you were a punter who likes to bet in running, and try and make a call about which horse, if you didn't know the result, try and make a call about which horse actually goes on to win that race from about half a mile out. Amazing. The slow ground seemed to get to some and not to others. Nothing back there. And then the main bet, we did start off with a winner, Al Suella. Maybe I got that right, maybe I haven't. Al Suella, I'm trying. That won back to back. So we had it last time. It was 22s. Went in at 14s today. 12 for the channel. Great ride from Laura Pearson on that one. Started us off well. Then, annoyingly, the next two, the 2 Southwell ones, both came 4th, which most people didn't get. But Sky and Hills and AAA. So I don't know if that meant Hills in shop as well. But those 3 bookmakers all certainly paid out online. And then we had the 2 poor ones at Chelmsford that were rubbish. So slight profit on that day, but at least we've broken the no winner run. So maybe just maybe we can build on that for Friday. Who knows? So that is that's that. What was I? Just checking this. Right. Yes. Okay. Right. So here's your 6 bets. I'll kind of give a bit of an explanation as we go. 155 Kelso. This is one that would fall under the banner of, since I've had a look at the stats at the weekend, wouldn't have put this in, but made it in for the revised staking plan. So step above in the 155 Kelso. That's our first race. Then I've actually got a couple of interesting, low grade sprint races at Wolverhampton, but and they're not massive prices. But 410 Wolverhampton. really interesting race. There's 2 horses come over from Ireland. McCann's got Empress of Bow, which we've backed a number of times at Dundalk, and he does have a pretty good record of bringing horses over, particularly at Wolverhampton. And I think Hayley Turner's a really interesting jockey booking. She's never ridden for him, so yeah, it's definitely coming in, that horse, and I think it could well get shorter, but it also could be one of them ones that gets shortened up sort of tonight and first thing in the morning, and then may drift at the time of the race, because that horse can go and run a nice race at a nice price. So yeah, 14s I'm happy with. The other Irish horse now I think is interesting, but Empress of Bow is the one that nudged it for me. So Empress of Bow, 440 Wolves. I've split legged that one. It's one of those races where there's a lot of horses that are well handicapped, and they all happen to have come together in the same race. And from a market point of view, they're happy to put something a bit short. And because our Ombre is an experienced horse, an ageing horse, it'll always be put up a little bit in the prices. But 14s is a good price in the context of the race. And I think Warminster too. It's sort of helpfully in the write-ups, it'll say that it's drawn wide, but in a field size of that big, I'm not as worried about that. So El Hombre and Warminster, and then the 502 Kelso. I've put in a shorty in here, Dedicated Hero 11-2. I think it's a bumper off the top, man. I think it's a bumper, 11-2. So it's 640 the bet, but you'll see there's not singles on everything tonight. 2 10p each way Yankees, so step above Empress of Bow, El Hombre, Dedicated Hero, 1 10p each way Yankee, and then step above Empress of Bow, Warminster, Dedicated Hero. We've got an each way single, 50p each way single, Empress of Bow, and we've got 50p win singles on El Hombre and Warminster, and I've left singles off the Kelso pair. Sky are the best bookmaker for this bet, and then Hills and 888 are second, because they are paying extra place on that 410 and possibly the Kelso race, but definitely the 410. So they've come out best. So that's bet one. 640 is what we've got. Here's the win Trixie for the afternoon. 225 Kelso, Ted 2, 2-1. 310 Fakenham, Invincible, Neo 11-4, and 325 Kelso, Empire Steel 13-8. Not massive prices. But you know, they're all better than even money at least. 50p win Trixie, £2. You're not going to get a jackpot on that one, but yeah, if we can manage to get three little price winners on there, that'll be a nice enough return for £2 outlay. So that's all it is. Bog bookie is what you want. And then Meydan. So Meydan, I wasn't going to be that keen, and then basically what you've got is I tend to ignore the dirt, right? The dirt races at Meydan throw up too much inconsistency. I prefer the turf, so I leave the dirt races and then look at the turf. And if you look at the turf, I was saying last night, although there's not any group class races, actually you got 4 races that could all go off with 16 runners, which means most bookies are paying 5 on most of them, and that does make it an interesting proposition. The problem I've got with some of the races is it is literally like, rather than picking the best horse or the best valued horse, you're looking at some of the races and you're thinking, which is the least worst horse? Because none of them look like you'd say they're a winner. So yeah, I've got, starting off 315, Bay of Honour. That's a horse that's been, since it's been over in Meydan, it's been run over the dirt. And it's not a dirt horse, so yeah, they're putting it back today over turf. And when it was trained as a Godolphin horse, it was a much better standard turf horse. So from a handicap point of view, it's come down to a nice enough mark, even by Meydan standards. So yeah, if that bounces back for the fact it hasn't been liking the turf, and right, so this is probably why it's taken me so long, right, for research. So if you look at that horse, and you look at the Dam's half sister, right? That's a horse we've been backing regularly at Meydan, who is a similar profile to this in the sense of runs were much better on turf. They try it, it's trained locally, but they try it running over dirt. It doesn't like it. So it looks like an inconsistent profile, but when actually you strip out the dirt stuff and the turf form is actually quite good. I'm hoping Bay of Honour might be the same. We'll see. 425. Now, this one is dead 16 runners at the moment. Some of the others have got reserves in. This is dead 16 runners, so one horse is going to knock it out. interestingly, only Sky are going more places. So Sky have gone 6 places on the 425. Everybody else seems to be 4 places, but quarter of the odds for a lot of them. So, well, not a lot of them. They are quarter. There's 16 runners, they'll be quarter of the odds. If it goes down to 15 runners, they'll change to fifth of the odds, which, again, I've mentioned this a long while back. It doesn't sound like a lot from a fraction point of view, but in bets like this, the difference between a quarter and a fifth really adds up if you do manage to find you hitting 3 or 4 places. So yeah, it's actually my preferred Meydan race. I like the race. I think a bit like the Wolverhampton race I've mentioned earlier. There's a lot of reasonably similarly handicapped horses. Ursa Minor we've taken already this season, and it's done us some favour. Second last time at 33s. Apart from the fact there's some slightly more progressive looking horses, if it runs its race, it's an overpriced horse because it's an older horse. It'll always be artificially higher in the market. So 25s, but you can get 33s in places. And then King of Time, the last 2 times those 2 horses have run together, and both times Ursa Minor's finished ahead of it. But I think there's reasons to believe, if you watch the races back, that actually you didn't necessarily see the best version of King of Time, and there's a slightly better draw going on here. So yeah, I think they might be a bit closer. So I decided I'd keep them both in. Then the 5 o'clock, I mean, that's a terrible race for trying to find any horse that's got an ounce of all right form in it. It's a really weird race. But I'm going for, I don't know if that's Onigirl. I think we'll go Onigirl 10 to 1. So a short price. Trained by the Botties, and yeah, it's the least worst horse, is how I'd say it. I don't even think that, nothing's got good form in that race, but I think that's the least worst form, and I actually would have it shorter than that by some way. So that's in, and then the 6-10, there's wildly different prices on that one, so that's one to watch out for. I think it's Paddy, Betfair, and one other are offering 25s, but in places you say it's low as 9s. Really, really varied. I can't see that 9s is the right price for it. I had it about 14, so I think there's decent value in 25s, but it is a bit of a health warning that if you're only getting around about 9s to 12s, it's not really it's not a brilliant bet. So I know, I appreciate that puts people in difficult situation if you can't get like 20s upwards really. Again, it's not a great looking race, but that horse has got the right conditions for it to run well. Again, it's been run on different types of surface and things, and I think around about that distance, 10 furlongs on the turf at Meydan, you should see a decent enough run for it. I think whether or not it's quite good enough to get top 5, not sure, but from a pricing point of view, I think it's a good price at 25s. 2 times 10p each way Yankees, that's Bay of Honour, Ursa Minor, Wondergirl and Aeonian, and then Bay of Honour, King of Time, Honourgirl and Aeonian. And then 50p each way singles on the 4 big prices, no single on Honourgirl. Sky are best, because basically it's this race. Sky 6, everyone else is 4, and then all the other 3 pretty much 5 across the board. There's a couple of standout bookmakers that are not, but most of the big ones are 5 across them and 4 on that 425. So 840 is the bet for bet 3. Then this is a bit of a tough one, but this was just my best double of the day, I think. Both kind of running in arguably new surroundings. So Bay of Honour, a turf at Meydan for the first time. Empress of Bow, I think it's the second time it's run in the UK, but not for a while. So 315 Meydan, Bay of Honour 22s, 410 Wolves, Empress of Bow 14s, 40p each way double, that's 80 pence. Sky Hills or 888 would give you the same place terms on that. And then the Dundalk Special, not massive at all in the prices on this one. 347, I mean a lot of them are thin margin, but 347 Sam's Express, there's not much margin in that price. But just made that the right horse for me on that race. The 5:30, there was a bit of chatter in the comments yesterday, or Thursday night, about Skontanovsky. I can absolutely see the case for Skontanovsky. I've gone Winemaker. I think there's slightly more potential in it improving, whereas Skontanovsky, kind of know where you're at with that horse, and it's whether or not it's on a going day or not. And marginally put off as well by the jockey booking. I say that because I've got the same jockey, Keane McRedmond, who's riding Sam's Express, but yeah, just slightly put off by that on Skontanovsky. If you sometimes track the history of a horse about when it runs well, what type of jockey or who rides it. Slightly put off. So I've gone Winemaker in the 5:30, 6:30. Again, wildly different on price. I think the fair price is to take 14s, but you can get 22s in places on cool down. 3-year-old, 8 runners. So you don't really want a non-runner in that race, but yeah, I quite like the look of that in terms of from a pricing point of view. I'd have it more about the 8-1 mark. 7:30 Mads Black 8s. I was on another, and then I've gone back through this, and I was like, no, that's the right horse to be on. Mads Black 8s, coming off a layoff, new trainer, but it's got the perfect conditions. So it has run well first time off a break as well. So yeah, it's got the standout form if it's bouncing back to form. So Mads Black 8s 12s. 20p each way Yankee, 50p each way single on Cool Dan, and I'm only doing a 50p win single on Mads Black 8s. 5.90. Sky are best because you get a couple of 5 places in there. Everybody else is standard. Well, not standard. Everyone else is pretty much the same. 5.90. And then last bet 6. So yeah. It won't be everyone's choice. I mean, you know, some people look at those Meydan races where you know you're going to get 5 places. That would be a sensible thing to do. But yeah, the 4.25, those two at the prices, that was absolutely my number one pick for a combo double race. Ursa Minor and King of Time, and then the 4.40. Yeah, it's a similar profile of a race to me, completely different races, but as in, yeah, there's a lot of horses with not much difference between them from a price point of view. It felt like the value's there. So El Hombre and Warminster. Sky best because you'll get 4 places and 6 places, where everybody else you're getting and the channel is getting 4 and 3. So with Sky you're getting 6 and 4. That's a considerable difference. So if you've got Sky, use your Sky bet for that bet. 4 times 25p each way doubles, so any combination of doubles adds up to £2. That is bet 6. That's the stake plan. 25.50. That's what we've got. Right, let me just check for the tips, the league stuff, because I haven't got loads. I'm not going to go through loads of it. But yeah, and I'll put up the full kind of chatter as I do. But well done, Shannon. I probably said that wrong again, haven't I? I do apologise. I can never get your name right. But yes, he won. He won last week. 90 quid. He was up. So well done to him. And then we had Devil Finish second, 55. Alex Powell 35. And then I wrote a note here because Stephen flagged a couple of bits to me that I certainly had not noticed. Yes, Stephen. So credit Stephen for this. Shouting out to Adam Esat. He has managed to make a profit every single week of the 2024 Tipster League. So he might not be top of the league overall, but he's made a profit every single week. So that's excellent stuff. And then overall top 10, not loads of changes, but Shosman, we're going to flag to you, Des is £4.10 behind you. So Shosman's still sat resting on his laurels on 320. Des is now £315.90, £4.10 behind you. Then there's a big old gap. Adam Esat, a well-deserved 3rd place. And then it rolls down. And yes, very similar people are in the top 10 as were before. That's where we're at. And I'll put the full thing up there. I think that is me. Having no golf this week. Trying to stay out of trouble today about saying anything else. And yeah, let's hope green shoots do that. It's always makes you vulnerable. 25-50 on, yeah, we all know we can come back with nothing out of that, despite the fact there's 17 horses going for us. There's a lot of horses, to be fair, in that plan, more than usual, that aren't covered by a single, like a singles bet. So you know, there's quite a few scenarios where you can have a bet with a single winner and get no return off it. But that is the way I've worked the plan out. And I'm trying to work that out on with percentages, which I'm not going to massively bore most of you with. Otherwise, I'll just get a whole bunch of other noise, which I won't be worried about at the moment. But yeah, so I've worked out percentages and stuff, and that's how some of the horses might look like they've got they're same priced, but there's a difference whether they're each way or not, or if there's a win on it at all. And so yeah, that's kind of taken into account into the staking structure. All right, I'll leave it there. I shall be back. Can't say at this point whether it be Friday night or Saturday morning. Not sure. I will update on Friday at some point once we've got through the melee that is that. And yeah, it's there for you. Yeah, I'd be delighted. We really clearly need a really good day. I think the current running total for the year -130, right? So what's that? 6.5 days stake. Some people just look and go, it's rubbish. That's those people. Other people go, well, I know we had a really good year last year in terms of November and all the rest of it. Depends on which way you're coming at it, right? And I get, and so I do completely understand. There will always be window shoppers coming in, making comments about things that they don't understand, and that's on top of the fact that just generally there will be other people who aren't even window shoppers that don't understand what goes on in this shop, because they just think everybody's crazy. And I'm the one that's making them crazy. So you make your own choices about your own sanity. All right. See you on the next video. Thank you very much. Bye bye.